Hello and welcome to Pizza Quest. I'm Peter Reinhart, and thanks for joining us again. I am with, I don't know, I have to say the hot couple of the moment in the pizza world from Lena Pizza and Bagels. We have Marisol and Rory Doyle. Sorry, pardon me. Let me make sure I say that right. Rory Doyle. They're partners, married couple. Each bring a diverse set of talents to the scene, but most importantly to the world right now is you guys were featured in the New York Times recently, not only as one of the 22 best new places in the country, but really in the sidebar story, you were the lead story. Them talking about what you're doing in Cleveland, Mississippi, at Lena Pizza and Bagels. So I want to find out from you guys how'd this all happen, and maybe fill us in. Even though it seems like you're an overnight success to the rest of us, I know there's a long backstory for both of you as to get to this present moment. So welcome, first of all. Rory, I see you there. I see Marisol. Those of you who are watching on the video version, we've got them up on the screen. Those who are just listening to the audio version, if we show anything of note, we'll let you know. So anyway, welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yes,
Peter.
thank you.
You're coming to us from Cleveland, Mississippi, right? Which is on the Delta. It's somewhere in the middle of what seems to the rest of the world as the middle of nowhere, but it's not, obviously, for you. It's the center of your universe. Marisol, you're originally from Sonora, Mexico.
Mhm.
Rory, you're from Maine. How did a New England Yankee and a Mexican, talent meet in Mississippi?
We actually we met in Phoenix, Arizona. I lived there with my family, my sister and my nephew. They lived there. So that's where we met. And after a short 6 months of dating, we got married and um, we moved. Rory found a graduate assistantship at the local university at Delta State here, and that's how we ended up in Cleveland. We moved. We made the move in 2009, and while he was at Delta State, I was working in local restaurants as a waitress and manager at several restaurants here. And yeah, that's how we started. I quit the restaurant business in in 2012 and or 2015, and I was working for a chiropractor.
Wow.
'Cause I was like, I said, I'm done with the restaurant business. I'm never doing this again.
We've
And
all said that at some point in our life.
And a very good friend of mine, wanted to do something at the local farmers market. So that's how we start. I started with bagels.
Yeah.
I started doing bagels, and we were doing sourdough bagels. They were not the best looking bagels. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we wanted to work together and do something fun. And eventually made perfection our recipe, and we did that for 5 years every summer.
Wow.
We rent a little kitchen and we would do our bagels, and then the pandemic happened, and we we actually rented a small space that we turned into a commercial kitchen, and we went in with bagels. We were doing breakfast sandwiches and bagels at another town about 45 minutes from here.
Interesting.
And
There's so many people who have who kind of entered in through the bagel portal, and others who have entered in through the pizza portal and have ended up in bagels. And so it kind of works with those bagels. It's interesting that you're doing both because bagels are very hot right now. We've had a number of shows featuring some of the the hot bagel makers around the country, and there's something about those two products, aside from the fact that they're both baked, that seems to draw kindred spirits.
yeah, well, there's no other place around in the area. A lot of people didn't know about bagels, or not only that, but they would say like, I don't want to try Yankee food.
Yeah,
That's
right.
So we had at the time we had to educate our customers and about our bagels, and it just worked out. We had a good following. Eventually, we had to shut down our business because my friend had to move out of town,
Mm.
and for a few months, I was done again with food,
Yeah.
and
Just
and
when
then
you thought you were out, they pulled you back in.
then pulled me back in. My husband actually saw me struggling, trying to find what I wanted to do, and he did have an ulterior motive. He loves pizza. Everybody loves pizza, but I mean, I'm here, and then pizza is like right here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, it's
what
funny because we, everyone loves pizza, and a lot of people, make a pretty good pizza, and people say you should go into the pizza business, and that doesn't always work for everybody, but somehow it did for you guys.
well, yeah, that was my husband. He was like, you have to do it. But I think because he saw me working with the O and he encouraged me and thought that it would be a nice transition. And bagels here by itself, like it wouldn't be a feasible business.
Yeah.
So pairing pizza and bagels made sense at the time, and still makes sense.
When you were doing bagels only at the beginning of this run, were you also doing sandwiches on the bagels or just selling the bagels by themselves?
Yes, we were doing breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese.
'Cause that's where the money is in doing something with the bagel.
Yes, yes. So, and when my business partner moved away, I just didn't want to do it all by myself. So
Yeah.
that's why I kind of stopped. But yeah, like doing pizza, that was our next quest
So how
search.
did so I know somehow you ended up in Naples, and I guess before that you had kind of hit upon what many of us think is maybe the mother lode of pizza in America at Pizzeria Bianco in Phoenix, and you were living in Phoenix, so you knew about Pizzeria Bianco. Would you say that that was your inspiration for getting into the pizza side?
I think that I think yes, and also was my first experience. I don't know about you, but it was my first time trying that style of pizza, and I remember like vividly going there in the summer. It was so hot, in Phoenix, temperatures go above
Right.
100. We were there like at 3 p.m. Waiting in line because they opened right at 5, and
Yeah.
it just had to be on the list, and you couldn't go anywhere because they will write you off the list. And I just remember that experience and just having their first pie. I still remember it, and I think that's why we decided to go and do Neapolitan and take a class.
It's tough when you have to pay the price, like standing in line for a Taylor Swift concert or something like that, and it better be good after all the pain you go through to get to it. So it sounds like it didn't disappoint you when you finally had that first bite of
Yeah.
Chris's pizza. Huh? Rory, you grew up with Northern style pizza, I assume. Maybe is that where you sort of first entered into the pizza passion world?
Yeah, so in all honesty, I grew up eating really bad pizza, but pizza was my comfort food, right? Like that.
Yeah,
And to go a little bit deeper, my family didn't have a lot of money, so a lot of the pizza that I ate was really bad, either fast food chain pizza or more typically like frozen pizza.
yeah,
But I would buy, or we would buy like frozen pizzas for the house, and I'll never forget. Probably close to 12-inch is the typical size for the
right.
freezer. I would just eat the whole one by myself when I
Yeah.
was like, 7, 8 years old, and I kept doing that forever and ever. And so that's kind of what I grew up on. But like
Yeah,
Marisol said,
there's something about pizza. Like there's really no such thing as a bad pizza. There's only good and there's very good. 99% we say is good. And then there's the very good, which you guys have, then you discovered that other level of what pizza could actually be when it's executed at that high level. But dough with something on it always seems to work, even at the most mediocre, expression of it. So, so that's how, so you got hooked. And then after going to Bianco and kind of deciding that you wanted to get into pizza, is that when you decided to go to Naples to study?
Yes. When we were talking about it, I was making pizzas at home, and I had no idea what I was doing here at home. And we decided to take a trip. We were gonna it was gonna be like a vacation slash like searching and trying to see if that was something that we wanted to do. So I did a little bit of research. I found this school outside of Naples in Bagnoli, Scuola di Pizzaiolo,
Yeah.
and it's a working school. It's a working pizzeria, a school pizzeria. So they had two ovens, and one was for the school, and the other one was for service. Um, so
How long was that program or the training there?
That was a week-long
it was
course.
a week, yeah.
Some of your listeners might, especially folks from Italy or tied to the Neapolitan world, might know our teacher. He was Fabio Cristiano, and he's super connected to the Neapolitan scene, being in Naples. But,
And I think we've seen Fabio at some of the pizza expos over the years too. Yeah, that school is very well known and also has spawned a lot of American spin-offs of the school as well. So it's a 1 week crash immersion course in pizza,
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Neapolitan pizza.
I found it and I told Rory about it, and I asked him if he could go with me because I was a little bit nervous. It's another country and another language. So he said he did it with me, and we did it together. And Fabio is so passionate about pizza and teaching that it's so contagious, and it made us believe that we could do it, and we came back just planning, just thinking about it, and all excited and planning, and I think that's what made us decide that that's what we wanted to do.
I know we talked a lot after the first trip, and we were like, okay, kind of related to what you said, Peter, about, oh, I can make pizza, let me do a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, okay, 1 week's crash training course is not enough.
Yeah.
Within a few months, actually, we were back in Naples, and this time for a very intensive, and Marisol being the foodie, I'm the photographer, but like she did a private one-on-one week-long course at AVPN, which was like, that was the trip back to get even more skills and more practice and training, and then we went back again like after that. So Naples has become this special place for us. We have friends.
Touch point for you.
Yeah.
While you were in Naples, you must have eaten a lot of pizza eaten around at some of the great places. Did you have any particular favorite pizzerias or sort of targets that became the model for what you wanted to do?
Well, my favorite is Pepe and Granny. That just blew my mind, and just the whole experience.
That Franco Pepe?
Pepe, yes.
Yeah, that's that.
Not,
Of course, many of our listeners have seen that episode on whatever on Netflix, Chef Table. So he's really kind of he's right now at the top of the pyramid, I'd say. So you got to have his pizzas, huh?
Oh, it's incredible. So if you've seen the episode on Chef's Table, like that sort of magic that you see in the episode, it appears in person when you visit. You're in a medieval setting, and I think what we both learned is Naples in particular, but Italians and the history and the culture of pizza. Like you take a food that is not seen as fine dining, but they elevate that experience in Naples in particular, where you just look around and everyone's eating pizza, but you're also dressed up, drinking wine, and the presentation is to the max.
Yeah.
And we felt that at Franco Pepe's, Pepe and Grani in particular, but also we have a kind of a great experience at Concettina Teatrani. That's in an old part of Naples, and he's like third generation in that family, Ciro Oliva, and he has a beautiful presentation as well. And we did a tasting menu at his restaurant, and I think it was among the most memorable meals of my life. And it was
Was
just
it a tasting menu of pizzas or a tasting menu that included pizza as one of
all
the
pizza.
all pizza?
Yes.
Wow. Well, we want to hear more about that at some point. But I got to ask this, Rory, being the photographer that you are, did they allow you to shoot while you were there?
That was really special. So there's somewhat of a layered story here, but we became friends with a bed and breakfast owner family, have a beautiful place called Atelier Inés. I recommend. I don't have any formal sponsorship with them, but they've just become great friends, and we stay there every time we go to Naples. They're right down the street from Conchitina, so they're friends with Ciro Oliva, and explained that I'm a photographer, and I actually got to do this really cool portrait of him inside of their original space where they cooked pizzas like 3 generations ago. So it was a nice moment to share, and I printed that off and sent it to him. So
Is that on your website by any chance? Any shots from there or anywhere else?
So I don't think I published it there. It might have been in an article that I did about this bed and breakfast, but
Wow, that sounds like it'd be fun. But no shots from Pepe's, huh?
No, I think from there it was more of us just going to enjoy.
Oh, there's a photo.
Yeah.
She got all googly-eyed when she got to do a selfie with Franco Pepe. He invited her into the kitchen, so they did a selfie by the oven. But
yeah.
So and now is that one on your Instagram or anything like that?
I think it is on our Instagram.
I think so, yeah.
Yes,
probably on our social account.
So, yeah.
So people that want to follow, along the story, you're on Instagram at with Lena Pizza and Bagels. Is that where they find you?
Yes, yeah. And my
and
personal, my name Marisol for
oh,
Doyle.
it's under your name.
That too. I have we use Lena and my personal, and then Rory has his Rory Doyle photo.
The official.
Rory Doyle you have an Instagram as well as a website, because I was on your website. I didn't see the Instagram, but I'll follow that one as well. So that's where we can see a lot of both of your work. So you said Lena, you pronounce it Lena. So we got to get, before I get too further down and hear more of the story, I want to find out the name. Where's the name come from? Because that's not your name.
No, it's not my name. A lot of people think it's my name, but leña means firewood in Spanish.
Oh, firewood. Oh, cool.
In Italian, it's like,
I feel like an idiot because I don't know that. I should know that, but now I do. I'm adding it to my bank of knowledge here.
Because for us it's very we use wood for to ignite our oven, like to have our oven and to cook our pizzas. Like we have a oven that is hybrid, is gas and wood, but our choice is to use wood.
And I know you didn't start with that oven. When you first were perfecting your pizzas, you started out with a small little portable oven. How did you get going?
Yeah, when we got back and from our trips in Naples, we got a uni. And I was practicing the dough, like trying to find like the right dough for me, and practicing in my backyard, inviting friends and to try our pizzas. And that was pretty a neat experience, because we would just like gather out together and just ask them questions like what they thought about this dough, about the ingredients, about the sauce, and I blame them too for hyping up, because they were all like, "Yeah, you should do this." Like,
right? They get to enjoy it. You get to do all the work.
Exactly.
but that happened a lot during the pandemic, especially. So many people through either a rock box or an uni, got into the pizza making. Some of them turned them into businesses. And we talked to a guy up in Rochester, New York, Peels on Wheels, last year, and he had like 3 rock box ovens, I think, in the back of a 3-wheeler vehicle, and he would drive places, open the back, and it was like these 3 ovens were like almost like having 3 rockets, blasting out of the back of his truck. And that's how he got going. And now he's got a brick and mortar. So you started out, I know, being on the, basically with the bagels and the pizza, you were just doing it on the road. You were mobile, but then you're now brick and mortar, right?
Yeah. So once we tested out recipes and all that, and we we talked it out and we decided to do it and just invest and go like full in. We found a little building in downtown Cleveland that was like there was nothing in there. It used to be a restaurant, but it's been closed for months, and we found it. We said this is what we're gonna do. We're not designers. We're not we handy at all.
Yeah.
We had to find people that could help us out just to turn this little building in a short amount of time, because it was we were gonna be grandfathered in until like a certain time, and if we didn't have all our inspections and all our building permits, we were gonna have to bring the building up to code, and for us that was not gonna be feasible. It was just gonna be an investment that we couldn't make. So from October of 2022 to March of 2023, that's the amount of time that we had to just renovate very quickly this like
Gotta get it, turn it around and get it open. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got equipment, painted the inside floors, and pretty much the layout it kept changing, but we just built it from the oven. Like the oven was gonna be the focus, because as you come in and we'll have seating on the sides, you see the oven in the very back, and then from there we just build it around it. Just like a little kitchen, like you come in and you see us working, making the pizzas, like stretching the pizza, cutting and all that, all that.
It sounds very traditional, a very Italy tradition, so to speak.
We wanted people to see it, and it's very funny because like people come in, especially men, they see the fire and they're like, oh, fire.
Yeah, right. We love fire. Yeah. Most of the people who come to Pizza Quest we call fire freaks, so.
Yeah, they're just people staring at it, and it's just we just love to see people come in, and it's just a very cozy, and to see our community in there. But
you still do bagels too. You do bagels once a week?
I do bagels once a week on Saturday. Originally, I wanted to do lunch and dinner, but I just quickly realized it was not gonna be happening for me.
Are you still doing sourdough bagels? Because that was a difficult way to get into the bagel side, even though it's hot right now.
Yes, no, they're not sourdough. They're like New York style. Ingredients: flour, water, salt, malt, yeast, and I boiled and baked.
And baked in the wood fire?
They're not. I tried to do that. I couldn't find the right temperature, and I think because I was getting ready to open, I just didn't want to play with it.
Yeah, not a lot of capacity in one of those ovens.
Yeah, so I have a little convection oven which I cook them, but I toast them. I get them like a little bit of blistering on the outside in the firewood in the oven.
Interesting. So it's interesting because you started out in the sourdough side, which I always say is like flying without a net underneath you, and now I've moved back, having learned the traditional techniques, in Naples, which is yeast based, not sourdough based, right? So you've kind of moved back into that. You have more control when you're using, fresh yeast. And now I've applied that to bagels. Do you ever foresee moving back towards the sourdough side at some point, or have you found your sweet spot?
I think I found my sweet spot, but I would like to learn other styles of pizza. I know that with my oven, I'm very limited to Neapolitan, but I don't know, like I know I've seen other pizzerias do other styles. And I would like to learn how to do like Detroit.
Yeah. But I can see you're still kind of exploring the full range of possibilities just within that one category, which is the most classic category of all, the Neapolitan or Neapolitan-ish. Are you doing more Bianco style, where it's really American Neapolitan with a longer bake? Or are you doing Italian style with like a 90-second bake? which is your preferred approach?
More Italian. Yeah, it's more Italian. We get the oven pretty at high temperature, and yeah, we try to bake it in 90 seconds.
Okay, so you're going for that fast bake, and of course, how many people can you accommodate at the restaurant at any given time?
I can sit about 28.
28 tables.
28. We have, yeah, no,
Or is it
28 seats.
Oh, wow.
28 seats, and then and it's for this kind of pizza, you really want to eat it right there out of the oven. But do you have people that come in and say, just put it in a box and let me take it?
Yeah, so I don't do takeouts over the phone or online. It's all in person because
Yeah,
I want people to experience it like
yeah.
right out the oven. I have people that come in. I have a little bit, two benches, like two long benches, like a little waiting area. So I still get people that come in and take it home. And they wait for their pizzas, and then the dining area. So I get both. I still get both. Most of my business is dine in, but there's been sometimes that takeout and dine in is like very, very equal.
Well, I
Like
think even though the most ardent, people with that these pizzas must be eaten fresh out of the oven had to pivot during the pandemic and started to like do them in the box anyway, even though it wasn't their preferred choice, and it worked. The model worked. There's people the pizzerias that survived because of the takeout side of the business, and like I said, pizza's always a hit, no matter whether it's the perfect version or the second level version. It's still, people love it. It's either good or very good. So it sounds like people are coming in either way. How many pizzas on a given day do you pretty much run through the oven?
on a slow day, around 80, and on a busy night, we've been doing around 135.
Wow, that's a lot of pizzas. And you're not making them. You're not 5 days a week, right? Are you what, 4 days?
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
3 days a week plus the bagels, and is the rest of the time just recovery from, because that's a relentless for a small operation and a small oven. That's a lot of pressure.
Sundays are for recovering. I still do a little bit of work, and I do my order for Monday. I get the truck delivery, and well, Mondays and Wednesdays. But the rest of the week I do payroll, like inventory. I also like do wine ordering.
So
Um,
are you doing it pretty much all of it? Are you the oven tender, everything from orders, or do you have a staff, or how does it work? Because you're growing, you got the New York Times, putting you on the cover. It's got to be a press now for you to grow.
The last 3 weeks have been incredible, and I went from having 4 people plus myself, so 5, to having to have 6 people plus myself, so 7. 6 and 7. Yeah, 7. I shape the pizzas, I make the pizzas. I have someone working the oven,
Ah, good.
have someone boxing, making salads, cutting the pizzas, and it's counter service. So I have a cashier
Uh,
and at times 2 to 3 runners.
good.
Um,
So you also offer salads and anything else on the menu besides pizza and salad?
and dessert,
Good.
we do one of our favorites is a Nutella calzone with fresh mixed berries
People
inside.
love Nutella.
And I have one of my very, very good workers. I love her. Her name is Beth. She makes desserts as
Nice.
well. She's been making a pistachio ice cream that
Oh,
it blew our minds. It's been, yeah.
there you go. There's the triangle, the pizza, the bagels, and ice cream. If you got ice cream too, you're home free, especially this time of year. But ice cream's got to be, people lining up just for that alone.
And
Uh,
cuatro leches cake.
mm,
I gotta throw a little bit of my Mexican
yeah.
heritage there as well. So
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit because I know, number one, you've got a pizza named after Rory, right? You got, what is that, Pepper Rory? right? Which has got to be, I'm guessing, is a tribute to your passion for pepperoni pizza from your youth, right?
The number one seller, not to brag, but yeah.
You know, even people who are purists about pizza and they say in Italy you're not going to see pepperoni, but here pepperoni is still king, right? Do you have a particular source for that pepperoni? Do you have a favorite pepperoni type?
I've been using Greco and Sons pepperoni. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say like they're not really a pepperoni fan, but somehow
I like this one.
they like this pepperoni, and like we agree. As soon as it comes out of the oven, it gets a little bit char on top, and it's just the flavors
That's good.
smoky.
So what's it called again? Breckle?
Greco and Sons.
Oh, Greco. Okay. I'm sorry, Greco. Yeah. Okay. So that's one that everyone can have, get to because that's a national brand. What about now? You brought also some of these, sort of Mexican influence into the flavors. So can you talk a little bit about some of the pizzas that you've s- tipped in that direction?
Well, yeah, there's one that I bring from time to time, and it was actually Rory's idea because he's been to Mexico and like
Yeah.
he loves Mexican food as well. And um, there's we make this pizza that instead of with red sauce is with refried beans, mozzarella cheese, bacon, Mexican chorizo, and topped it off with like a roasted salsa verde. And
Wow.
yes, in the beginning, people were a little bit apprehensive, but now the more that we bring it back, the more it
Yeah.
sells. And I also tell them that if they have a slice like to bring home, that they can have it for breakfast with the fried egg the next day, and it's just
Nice.
delicious.
It sounds great.
I've,
I mean, I think that highlights how versatile pizza can be, and the fact that even though your pizza making roots are now, sort of in Italian Naples style, that I think the lid is off as far as everyone understanding that pizza is an international food, and it's dough with something on it, and the something on it does not have to be the classic, Italian ingredients.
Oh, absolutely. And on our menu, we do have your like traditional like margarita, like we can do a marinara. We have a prosciutto arugula on our menu, but we also change it up and do we do one new pizza every week, like one different style of pizza. We've done a shrimp and grits
Ooh,
pizza. We've done like this week we're gonna do potato pizza, and it's a white sauce, Parmesan and garlic base with thin sliced potatoes, bacon, finish it up with
nice.
onions, and it's just I love baked potatoes. Just talking about this last night, like how I love like French fries or potatoes on
Yeah.
everything. It just tastes like a loaded potato, and it's just so good.
Well, I like the fact that you don't limit, you don't feel any sense of limitation as to what you can do on top of that pizza. Some people are so married to the traditional styles that they just won't want to think out of that box. But it sounds like you're an out of the box thinker from the get-go.
We did do a al pastor pizza, and I wanted to put the pineapple on it, but my wouldn't let me, so I put it on the side. It was still there, it was still on the side.
That's a very controversial, box to open up there. But and we've had that discussion on Pizza Quest a number of times of whether is it allowed, is it legit, isn't it? But and I won't pull you into it yet. But maybe we'll get you when we'll get a panel discussion going sometime in the future and talk about. But I love the idea of kind of making that a taco style pizza like that. Because why not? Isn't it? I mean, there's so many similarities between pizza and traditional street foods of various cultures. Um, so you do the pastor there. Then is it just a slow roasted pork, or how do you do that?
Yeah, just slow bake, yeah, season it and just layer it, kind of like what they would do on the street taco stands, and then
Yeah,
just bake it for a few hours.
Well, before we run out of time, tell me a little bit about Cleveland, Mississippi. I mean, the restaurant's on what, Cotton Row? Is that the name of your street? Cotton Row. I mean, it doesn't get more, Delta than this. I expect that we'd be hearing, blues music being played all over the place and slow moving guitar stuff and Delta blues players. Is that, am I getting the right picture? Because that's what it evokes. All of those images, Cotton Row, the Delta. Is that what it's like? And what is Cleveland? What is the town of Cleveland about? Is it a farming community? Is it a fishing community or what?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of your assumptions are pretty spot on. Like we are very remote here. There's less than 12,000 people in Cleveland, and when the article came out in the Times, like we saw some of the comments, and they were like, "I didn't know there was a Cleveland, another Cleveland."
Really?
And so we always
Yeah.
talk about this is the real Cleveland, but uh, Cleveland is a really nice small town that is doing well compared to a lot of the Mississippi Delta. A lot of people have left here. Agriculture is the lifeblood of this region. And when farming became more mechanized, and if you trace the roots of this region back even further, unfortunately, like the ties of this land, they're tied to slavery. So we have this history of farming that is also directly next to the Mississippi River. So you have a very flat landscape, a lot of wide open fields the only thing that breaks the horizon is a tree line from property to property.
Wow.
So, to come here, it is quite out of the way for people. But we do have a culture of tourism related to the blues music, to the Mississippi River. And if you're traveling from, let's say, Memphis to New Orleans, you could choose to come through this way on the historic Highway 61. So Cotton Row used to be Highway 61 until they built it bigger and built it like a 4-lane highway, which is just a little bit down the road now. And so there's a lot of history where when farming was mechanized, the Great Migration of many African Americans leaving the area, going to bigger places, St. Louis,
Uh-huh.
further.
Is cotton still king? Is it still grown there?
It's still grown here, but only in some places. Cotton grows best in sandy soil. So there's in 45 minutes north of us is Clarksdale, and they have much sandier soil than our county. But also cotton is no longer that prosperous.
Right, right. So what is the agricultural foundation of the community?
So they're row crops that change. They'll often change because it's not best practice to grow the same crop every year on the same land.
Right.
So they switch them out between rice, corn, soybeans, and cotton probably being at the bottom in terms of how much is grown. And then there's some winter wheat that's grown, but the big ones are corn, rice, and soybeans.
What about other restaurants in the town besides yours? Or you're not the only restaurant in town, are you?
No, we have like a steakhouse like 2 doors down from us. We have a hotel, the Cotton House Hotel,
Oh,
very close to us. And they have a bar, a rooftop bar, and they have a restaurant on the first level. And there's other like restaurants. Well, I used to work at Hey Joe's, burgers and sandwiches,
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh. What about barbecue? Any good barbecue around you?
yeah,
In Memphis, not. I mean, we
Oh,
have Cleveland, but it's not as big of a culture here in Cleveland. However, it is heavily influenced by the Memphis
the
barbecue,
Memphis. How far are you from Memphis?
about two.
Even less than 2. So we're about an hour 45 minutes to Memphis to our north, and then an hour 45 minutes to our south is Jackson, Mississippi, the capital.
So you're kind of right in the middle between those two.
We also have the second Grammy Museum
Yeah, yeah.
In Cleveland.
The second
Really?
Grammy Museum was built, I think it was opened in 2016, if I remember correctly, and it was the Grammys recognizing the beginning of American music right here in this landscape in the Mississippi.
Interesting. Interesting. So you are kind of in the crossroads section of the country then. And now that when people are just driving past, Cleveland, now they have a reason to stop in Cleveland because I'm sure they're putting it now on their, to-do list on their way past town. But again, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, are your days of operation. Bagels only on Saturday. Do people need to call in advance? Do you take reservations, or is it walk up only?
I don't do reservations. It's first come, first serve.
First come on. All right. So those of you who are listening, when you're there, you just plan on being there. Now they don't have to wait 2 hours in the sun to get in, do they?
No. We turn tables pretty quickly.
It's not like Pizzeria Bianco where you have to,
Although in truth be told, since the
first.
list came out, the lines have been pretty long, and it's an interesting scenario because usually wait in line here in Cleveland, Mississippi, but now we're seeing a little bit of that, which is a special feeling.
Yeah,
Isn't it funny how pizza can put Cleveland on the map now for everyone else in the country who didn't even know Cleveland, Mississippi existed. Now you're on a destination map for those. And we've done that over the years. We put these little pizza maps together. Now you've got to be on it. You're the poster child now of this new generation of pizzerias.
I learned that there's 15 Clevelands in the United States.
I thought it was 28.
We have one right here in North Carolina where I live. We have a Cleveland, North Carolina as well. I never knew there were more than one Cleveland either until I moved down here. But well, I just want to first of all say congratulations. I know that sometimes these things just happen out of the blue. You never know. You do what you got to do, not ever expecting to be discovered, and then it happens. But it's happened relatively quickly for you guys. So now your challenge is going to be managing the growth. You've got a lot going for you. You got your ice cream, you've got your desserts, you've got your pizzas and your bagels. And I'm just wondering if you foresee the need or possibility of having to expand and grow the business a little bit.
I get that question a lot. We're just right now we're just gonna see what the next few months hold for us and trying to adjust and adapt like the next few months. We also have in Cleveland, November and December, 50 Nights of Lights. In November, the first week of November, the whole town of Cleveland, well, the whole downtown just fills up with hundreds and hundreds of like Christmas lights, and it just Hallmark movie. It's beautiful. It draws lots of people. Last year it was our busiest time of year. So we're preparing for that. Don't know what to expect. So I think that this year we're just going to adapt and trying to see just hire people and train and just take it one day at a time.
Exactly. I mean, the learning curve, as most operators will tell you, it takes years to kind of assimilate all the learning opportunities that come your way. But with your amount of creativity between the two of you, you're both very creative people, and the cross-cultural influences that you have, I foresee the possibility of you coming up with a very distinctive Delta style pizza. There's Detroit style and there's Roman style. There's got to be a Delta style pizza, and you're in the crossroads and in a position to to kind of now bring it to Pizza Expo and enter it in one of the pizza competitions and come up with your hybrid of based on all the skills that you're developing. Not just a thought, and I wouldn't say to rush into it because you've got a lot of assimilation to do to catch up with all the things that have happened to you, but I could see it happening. Let me know when it happens because and even some of the pizzas that you're doing already are kind of hybrid pizzas that represent something new, a new approach. So think about Expo. I don't know if you've ever gone to the Pizza Expo. Have you been to that one before?
Yeah, we went to our first Pizza Expo this past March.
Didn't I meet you there? Didn't we meet briefly? Yeah. Okay. So much was going on.
Very quickly, don't worry about it. You were doing a demo for it's a pan pizza.
I was doing a pan pizza. Yeah.
With Scott from Pizza Tours.
That's right.
Yes, and we just said hello, introduced ourselves, and
that was really special. To meet you, to meet all the people there, and to be on the floor because probably the expo is bigger than downtown Cleveland.
Yeah, right. That's true.
It's just our minds were blown, and I couldn't stop eating all the food. It was incredible.
Well, for you, it's it's kind of like, a kid in a candy store, right? Someone who loves pizza as much as you do. It's the right place. But well, I don't know. Think about maybe entering. I don't know if you entered this year or not, but it's one of those competitions. It's a good learning part of your learning curve and connecting with all those other operators that have been there. We just had Siler Chapman on. We just talked to him yesterday. His show hasn't aired yet, but Siler's been, involved in the pizza world, and he organizes the competitions there for years and years. So he never can enter in Vegas, but he entered in Naples, and a couple months ago he won the gold cup for one of his pizzas. He got the gold medal for a traditional American. They call it the Americano category. And so he finally kind of like got a chance to compete. But all those years, he said, of being there, watching the competition, wishing he could dive back in, he learned a lot, and it paid off when he got into the competition. So the learning never stops, as you probably already know. But you're off to a great start. And so congratulations. Stay in touch with us. We're going to be following you. Those of you who are listening, remember to go to let's see, for Instagram, it's what the best handles at Lena or
Lena Pizza Bagels.
Pizza Bagels.
Instagram doesn't let us add the tilde to the end, so it's spelled Lena Pizza Bagels. And then Rory Doyle photo.
Yes. Yeah, check out Rory's Instagram and site, because the photos are fabulous. I know, guys, and you were nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, weren't you, for one of your stories?
With a team of reporters investigating some unfortunate news in Mississippi about corruption in sheriff departments, but it was like a really meaningful story.
Yeah. And it had an effect too, didn't it?
Yeah, actually, the legislature even passed a bill that would like prevent some of this corruption happening in the local sheriff department. So that was pretty cool to see that happen.
So real journalism still exists, folks. Thank you for doing that.
There's some counties that I probably am not so welcome to visit.
Right. Be careful, watch your back. But thank you for doing that work, and for both of you for being, for expressing, your creativity and your passion so beautifully. We love Pizza Quest is really, partly about the quest for the perfect pizza, but it's really about celebrating true artisanship wherever we find it. And we love it when we find new people that are doing really important and creative work. So thank you. We appreciate you. And I'll look forward to seeing you again, in the future, both here on Pizza Quest and maybe at one of the expos.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
so much, Peter.
us.
This was great.
Best of success, and make sure I'm glad you're getting a couple of days off every week, because you're pushing hard at the beginning, what you have to do, but it's paid off. So Marisol and Rory Doyle, Cleveland, Mississippi, Lena Pizza and Bagels. Thank you. And thank all of you for tuning in to Pizza Quest. We'll see you at the next episode.